Hey, everybody, welcome back to this episode of Think Business. I'm looking forward to talking to Rocco Carriero. Rocco, it is great to connect with you. You are the owner and founder of Rocco Carriero Wealth Partners, and you're the author of Three Chords, Approach to Life and Wealth Management for Business Owners. Great name, by the way. A great name. Never met a Rocco I didn't like. So, Rocco, let's talk about that. Let's talk about life and wealth when it comes to business owners. You know, what are some of the key things that business owners aren't thinking about when it comes to just wealth management?
Jon, that's a great question. We're going to talk about today is really the three chords approach, or the three things that business owners are thinking about. I don't know whether they're focusing on it, but as we talk through what the three chords are, I think your listeners are really going to kind of resonate with the topic. And so the three chords are obviously their business, which is really important to them, their family and personal relationships, and themselves as an individual. Those are the three chords that the book represents.
Yeah. And so prioritize those for me. So what comes first, second, and third?
Yeah, a lot of people ask that question, and I would say that everybody's different in terms of how they prioritize them. Most people prioritize them where they put their family first, and they put their business second, and they put themselves as an individual third. Yeah. That's not all cases. Some people put their business first, their self second, and their family third. There's no right or wrong way to do it, but what's certainly the right thing is that all three are critically important. If a business owner leaves out one of the three, that tends to cause the cord to snap and creates disaster in a business owner's life.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I'm a business coach, and one of the things I talk a lot about these same buckets, right? What are you doing to grow your business? And then the other buckets in your life, your personal buckets and your family buckets. So you can really be as balanced. And sometimes the balance isn't always the same every day throughout the week, but in alignment. And so when people look at these three buckets, these three chords, how do you guide people to kind of balance them out? And what does balance look like? Because it can be different during every day. It can be different every month. It can be, different, just kind of how you're looking at life as far as seasons go.
I think that the term balance is probably I know a lot of people like to use it, but it's really, it's kind of impossible to balance. I really like to use the word focus. Mm-hmm. And so when you focus on being a superstar, successful business owner, you got to focus on that. When you got to focus on being be there for your family, you got to focus on that. And when you focus on yourself, you got to pay attention to that too. So it's really focus at that particular time on one of the three is more important than balance. If you're thinking of balance and kind of spreading yourself across all three, I don't think you really master any of the three. So I think it's concentrated focus, which actually makes a bigger difference.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's really well put. And so let's talk about focusing on the business right now. Let's talk about focusing on the business. From a wealth management standpoint, when you're looking at your business and you're forecasting, how should someone be forecasting their business that when you advise just on the growth of the business, how to set goals, how to forecast, to have the life they want.
I think we've all heard the saying, if you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there. And by forecasting your business results and developing a plan around it, that will definitely help you get further than if you don't. What's been my experience, and I've been working with successful business owners for 25 years, I think business owners could haphazardly grow by 4 to 6% by just being there if they have a decent business. But in order to really grow by 20-25%, that's really got to be done in an intentional way. You got to know where you're going. You got to put the pieces in place. if you want to grow by 25%. And I think, in today's inflationary environment where all business owner costs are going up, you got to be growing by 25% in order to really, really grow. And the reason why I say that is that, we're hearing all kinds of inflation numbers. In my opinion, real inflation could be somewhere between 14 to 15%. So if a business owner is growing by 6, they're really going backwards, right? So you really got to be growing in excess of 14 or 15% to really be experiencing true growth, in my opinion, in today's environment.
Yeah, I love what you're talking about as far as focus, forecasting, and being intentional. Let's talk a little bit more about executing consistently on an intentional basis, right? It's sometimes when you're thinking about numbers like that as a business owner, you may think, wow, that's a lot. But I'm a big fan of, the same level of consciousness that got you to where you are can't get you to where you need to be. So you really have to, if you don't want to change, you still have to change, right? To keep up with the times. And so how are you guiding people to really kind of look at that number one and just kind of get them to realize that it is 14, 15%?
Yeah, well, we're looking at what are business owners must do's, right? What are the critical things that they must do every day or every week? And the must do's are things that if you did those 3 or 4 things, it means that you would not fail. That's what must do's mean.
And what are some of those things?
Well, how they manage their time, understanding what really drives revenue, right? As business owners, we could all get caught up in things that don't really mean too much. We think we're busy doing productive things, but if they're not one of our must-dos, you really shouldn't be spending your time doing them.
Yeah.
If you want to be productive, you got to spend 80% of your time on your must-dos.
Yeah. I love that. There's so many activities that we get paid for and so many that we don't. And I think sometimes people get lost, and I see this too, in just admin work that they absolutely should not be doing, and they're not delegating effectively. So when you talk about getting and focusing on the 80%, how do you guide your people to begin to let go of control and start delegating?
That the most successful business owners are the ones that basically align themselves with a real great team, whether professionals around them, wealth manager, accountant, attorney, chief operating officer, business coaches, different people they surround themselves with, and they delegate these things in their life. And the ones that are able to successfully pick a team around them, they do great. The ones that want to maintain and control and really micromanage everything, they get stuck. They can only grow so far. They hit the ceiling of complexity and they can't break through it.
Let's go back to your book for a second, Three Chords Approach to Life and Wealth Management for Business Owners. What's one of the main takeaways you hope people get from your book?
The book is really a comprehensive financial planning book to help business owners, plan for financial management. But woven inside of those, the actual topic of around financial planning ties in with themselves as an individual, themselves as a business owner, and themselves as a family person. So the point that we're trying to get across to people is that true wealth is all three. It's not just one. It's not just two. It's all three. And that's really the concept of the book and the philosophy around the three chords.
I love it. All right, quick speed round, Rocco. Book that had the biggest impact for you?
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
One of my favorites. One of the first books I read, really read, 30 some years ago. I loved it.
Great book.
That's the best piece of wisdom you've ever received.
Develop your leadership skills. Develop as a leader.
Finish this sentence. One thing I need to do to be a more effective forecaster in my business so I can have the life and wealth I want is? Align
with the right business coach.
I love it. This was great. Tell everybody who your ideal clients are, Rocco, and how they can connect with you.
Our ideal clients are successful business owners that are not necessarily startup. They're kind of like mid-stage. They're thinking about either growing or maybe exiting their business. clients that have liquid investable assets of anywhere from 2 to 10 million that need comprehensive planning and that want to work with a comprehensive wealth management team. That's who we work with best.
I love it. And tell everybody how they can connect with you.
They can reach out, go to our website at roccoacarriero.com. That's ROCCO, middle initial A, Carriero, CARRIERO.com.
All right. Rocco, this has been great. I appreciate it. All the continued success on your book. Thanks for sharing some wisdom. Think community, we talked a lot about, and I'm going to use Rocco's word of focusing on the 3 cores, the 3 buckets, which you've heard me talk about: family, business, and personal. And it's really important that, you hyper-focus and approach each one, as Rocco was saying, as you've heard me say on the show before, with really great intention. I mean, to have a great life, wealth is great, but family and being fulfilled in all of these buckets, I think is so much more. So just wanted to echo that. Rocco, thanks so much for taking time to be on the show. And community, if Rocco can help you, please reach out. Rocco, thanks. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, John, for having me on.